back of the rim. Got it! Oh, the slam foul! Using Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Well, unfortunately, I've got a trip literally the day after 2K23 dropped officially for everyone, so to get any content, I had to spend a gross amount of time playing the game. And while negativity absolutely does sell, I wanted to tell y'all some things I love about it so far. Number 1, the 3 bars for stamina. Thank you, 2K, prayers answered. The biggest issue, I believe, in Park when 2K22 first dropped was that the meta was basically these 5'8", 5'9" builds that didn't actually have any basketball IQ. Literally all they did the entire game was zigzag, run back and forth, have one of their poor friends playing center so that they would set screens but do literally nothing else, because they weren't getting the ball when they were wide open. And they just kind of rinse, wash, and repeat that cycle until they got an open 3. While there are people that are going to crack 2K23, they're gonna find faster dribbling than what you're going to see from your typical guys out there right now. These 3 bars make it much harder on both sides of the ball to spam annoying tactics that make the game unplayable. So yes, you can dribble in place without draining these bars, but what you can't do is repeatedly try to burst by your defender, or should I say run back and forth and burst by your defender until you create an open shot. The goal from 2K here was clearly to get people to actually share the ball, use some real basketball tactics. It's virtual basketball, it's not real basketball, but at least try to do something that you would do in real life. And on the offensive side, I've got to say I absolutely love it. Guys at least have to get creative this year. And on the defensive side, I think any of us who spent any amount of time with this game fell in love with the square button. If we saw a lane, we reached for it. If we were in the backcourt, we were trying to get a steal. Well, between reaching and jumping, yes, those 3 bars. 1 will drain each time you do either. That is great. It cuts down on the amount of people just baiting the entire game, makes them actually have to try to play something of real defense. On either side of the ball, it just makes you more disciplined. I've loved my experience playing against people with it so far, and for myself. I've actually had to break the habit of reaching in lanes before a guy's even thrown a pass. If you get a steal this year, you weren't gambling. You really did read that lane. Speaking of being more disciplined, the shooting. Number 2, hands down, man down. Yes, it's happened to me tons of times in rec so far, even in regular Park. You are not going to get some BS contest this year. You're not just going to bait inside the paint and then at the very last second run out and get a good contest. You can play it smart and get those type of contests, but if you're stretching your build beyond its defensive capabilities, it might look like you got a hand up, and I promise you didn't. You've left that man wide open. Before this game came out, all I heard was that it was going to be the most difficult task in the world getting a shot to go down, specifically for the Hall of Fame mode. The early reads I was getting from people is that if you don't green a shot, you don't make a shot. I kind of found that to be true. I turned it on Hall of Fame, went and shot around. I was only making the greens. I don't remember making anything else. I like that. One of the reasons I quit playing Play Now Online, aside from the fact that it had been the same mode for a long time, is it was just way too easy. I was making any type of shot I threw up. So my hope for it this year is that the shooting stretches across difficulties and you actually have to have some type of skill to make a shot. That way you don't end up beating everyone you play by 20, since no one who is good at 2K really plays the mode anyways. I would just like for there to be some challenge there. Making shots simply because you're open, I get it, it was accessible, but I think that was lame. And that was basically all I saw last year. Speaking of shooting, this is a very tiny detail, and I wonder who has noticed it, but when you miss a shot, and only sometimes when you miss a shot, the rim reacts. I don't remember seeing this in any 2K. It didn't happen every single time. It seems like you have to hit a certain point on the rim, and I also noticed that happened more in rec. But yes, miss a 3-pointer, miss a jumper, the rim is gonna slightly bend down and pop back up. That's just a really, really nice detail. Speaking of details, number 4, the saves. I can't tell you how many times a ball was headed out of bounds last year, or just in previous 2Ks in general, and you knew really not to go for it because it wasn't like your player was gonna do something spectacular and throw it back in bounds, or keep it in bounds, lean over the line and save it. Well, this year, yeah, he's gonna do that actually. Happened about 4 or 5 times last night between myself and the people I was playing against. This is also something I've had to adjust to. There was a couple of times where I didn't run for the ball, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, this year you can actually do something about it. Between the rim and the saves, those are 2 things that I really feel like in the next few years we're just going to wonder, how is this ever not in a basketball game? At number 5, now I will move completely to Park. Really, it's called The City. And oh my gosh, I can't believe we are 3 games into this console generation and we are just now getting an easily traversable Park. They've done things here and there to make their giant designs more accessible, but check it out. All you have to do this year is press R1. It will show you where a subway station is. Go to the subway station and you can go basically anywhere inside the city. Gone are the day of you and your friends just sitting around before you were getting ready to play and you're like, hey, I want to go get some shoes, and now you got to take a go-kart all the way over there or a skateboard. You never have to do that this year if you don't want to. But wait, that's not all. Now when you're in a squad, it's not going to disconnect you. When you're in a squad, it doesn't disconnect you whatsoever. So if y'all are in a park together and you find out it's dead, you want to go somewhere else, say you just want to go play rec, hop in that subway station, take it to rec, you could be the first one there and you're still in the squad. Don't have to re-invite anybody. If you leave that park and you go to another, say from the Beast to the Wildcats, you are still in the squad. That is very helpful. You can get anywhere you want very quickly and you don't have to fight with the invite system. The final thing I like about 2K23 thus far is the park designs. Look, I come from the PlayStation Home era, not sure how many of y'all remember that, but I was a big fan of that. I loved what they did with the video game spaces, just the creative stuff in general. I've been very adamant in my old 2K reviews about how much I like when 2K does these type of things. It's really from the old days with the blacktop, and they went off with I haven't been to every park. I've seen some of them in the trailer, but the few I've been to, they snapped. The Beasts have this beautiful volcano design, and when it turns night, it really pops. Everything from the glow to the lava flares, the courts, just overall it feels like a place you want to be, a place you want to spend your time gaming with your friends. And thus far, I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any invite issues, haven't dropped a game. Oh, sorry, one more thing with the design, the rec center. It has been a long time since I stepped in rec and felt like I was actually somewhere different than the previous year. This one feels different. Everything from the crowd, this probably being the best show of graphics in the game. 2K gets an A+ this year for environment, seriously. As of now, this is something I look forward to playing. However, I am curious about what your thoughts are for NBA 2K23. I feel like this is the first year I haven't heard anything about current gen. Feels like it took longer this time around because of COVID, of course, and the PlayStation 5 shortages. All types of things contributing to that. But here in the third 2K on next gen, I haven't seen current gen news. I haven't seen people talking about playing current gen. I don't know. So I'm not the guy for that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other YouTubers that will cover it. This entire review, hopefully you realize what's for next gen. But if you're on either, let me know what you think. Also be sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new video is dropped. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.